Freedom March with Rodney Munker. Up next on ILTV.
The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by Rodney Munker, his guests, callers, and advisors on Freedom March are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of ILS or the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is a product of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented, in part or entirety, without express written consent of the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2024. All rights are reserved.
Marijuana is a dangerous drug.
The Queen is dead! God save the King!
There can never be rape in marriage. MW sound like bad man wagon. Not only am I saved, I'm saved and sanctified. The revolution is alive, and we must continue to document it.
Freedom!
Freedom March with Rodney Munker will be right back after this. This is Freedom March with Rodney Monker. This is Freedom March with Rodney Monker.
Welcome back to Freedom March. My name is Rodney Monker, and at the top of the news, you should have heard by now that last night on the corner of Soldier Road and Windsor Place, if you're not sure where that is, that's where Sugar Kid, the boxer, has had a barroom, a little restaurant, and a food store for over 40 years. Well, right in that area, 2 Negro assassins. They came from behind a wall and they opened fire on a number of Negro men. At the end of the evening, one who it is reported in his 50s was killed instantaneously, and the other 2 were seriously wounded. And of course, the men on the blocks who were present relaxing, they had to rush at least 1 or 2 to the Princess Margaret Hospital. So that is another serious crime affecting the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, while the families of murdered victims are not saying anything, they're not demonstrating, there is no protest, there are no petition to the respective members of Parliament, and of course, by extension, there is no protest to the government. So there's a major cover-up taking place in the country as it relates to these serious criminal offenses that are taking place. We'll set the stage by inviting my spiritual advisor to do that which spiritual advisors should do exclusively, and that is to gossip the gospel. Brother Roll, if it pleases you, behold the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Oh, absolutely. We have a very interesting Bible lesson 101 today. Pay attention to this now. This is very, very important. I had an opportunity today to listen to a radio talk show, and a part of the guests of the talk show claimed to be from some black Egyptian Coptic church. And they asked him a question about Jesus and whether or not Jesus ever said that he was God. And so he said no. And see, this is what happens when you don't know your Bible. I always tell folks that you ought to get yourself a read Bible, because if you don't, you won't know what is in it. He said that Jesus never said he was God. And I want y'all to pay very special attention to this now. This is a very important lesson today, a Bible 101, and you have to see if you can sink in once you see exactly what I'm trying to point to. Here's the book of Exodus in the Old Testament, chapter 3. All right? 13 to 14. Listen very carefully. Moses said to God, suppose I go to the Israelites and say to them, the God of your fathers has sent me to you. And they ask me, what is his name? Then what should I tell them? God said to Moses, I am who I am. This is what you are to say to the Israelites. I am has sent me to you. Remember that. God said to Moses, I am who I am. This is what you are to say to the Israelites. I am has sent me to you. So the Israelites heard Moses give this particular name, I am. All right, so let's go to the New Testament now, because I am fully convinced that Jesus Christ is the God of the Old Testament. Now let's go to the New Testament in John chapter 8, 56 to 58. Watch this now. Jesus says, your father Abraham rejoiced at the thought of seeing my day. He saw it and was glad. Watch the Jews reply. You are not 50 years old, they said to him, and you seen Abraham? Very truly I say to you, Jesus answered, before Abraham was born, I am. That's what you got another verse for me? Okay. Anyhow, there's a verse verse 59 I want you to read as well. But look at verse number 58. Very truly I tell you, Jesus answered, before Abraham was born, I am. What is Jesus saying? Verse number 59, if you read it, it will tell you when Jesus said this, the Jews pick up stones to stone him. You know why? Because they recognize that only one sovereign being is referred to as the I am. But Jesus himself says, before Abraham was, I am. The lesson is yours. Self-explanatory. Jesus is the God of the Old Testament. Thank you so much, producer. Back to you, Sandra.
My spiritual advisor, I thank you for that powerful revelation
Absolutely.
today.
Absolutely.
Well, folks, you would have heard the news last night that there was a triple shooting at the junction of Windsor Place, it is alleged, and Soldier Road. That's where Sugar Kid Bo moved over 40 years ago from Palm Tree Avenue as he expanded his food stores. You would recall that Sugar Kid Bo was once a boxer who lived in the Coconut Grove subdivision. Well, that is where the shooting, it is alleged, took place when two Negro thugs, well armed, came from behind a wall, according to the police, and opened fire on a number of Negro young men who were in that area, killing, we are advised, instantaneously a man reportedly in his 50s. The other two citizens who are reported to be younger, they were immediately rushed to Princess Margaret Hospital. So the murder counts, I have stopped counting, but I suspect it's in the 80s. So that is what is taking place in the country, as there is no organization, there is no political party. There's no one in the country who's saying that these murders need to be stopped and that political pressure ought to be brought on the parliament to remove the impediments that prevent the state from hanging convicted murderers. So the shooting shall continue, the killings will continue, mothers will continue to mourn, friends will continue to pick up arms in revenge and retaliation. And at some point, we have to take into consideration that the human rights of the male population is challenged, and that there are more violence being committed against the male population of this country than against the female population. There are many people who are sexist, they are anti-man, they're man-haters. And so no one seems to be concerned over the fact that in the population there are people who are committed to being man-killers, and the state appears to be helpless. The parliament appears to be helpless. So then what do we expect for family and friends to do if the perception is clearly established that once your friend or relative is murdered, you cannot expect justice? It's a very sad, sad situation in our country, and it's like every day we go through the same ritual where our sons are being murdered, and no one seems to be that upset, that angry. Well, there it is, my spiritual advisor.
Yeah, we have a serious issue, Senator, with our males not being able to control their temper, though, Senator. I don't know what's going on with our men, but for some strange reason, they feel that they have the right to take another person's life. But there again, Senator, the crime is a very serious issue, and the government and successive governments have not found a way to deal with it. And as a result of that, it's going to continue to be a vexing problem to us. It's just so sad. It's just sad indeed. Anyhow, we move on.
Yeah, so that is powerful. Very sad and stressful situation. Well, I'm being advised that one of my people, the Haitian, apparently he has been involved in a very serious traffic accident which caused the death of a Negro person in the area of, it is alleged, Ponciana Avenue and Market Street. And I'm told that the police had him within their grips, and somehow he disappeared. And the next report we got was that he had gone home. And it took me a long time to figure out what the heck they were talking about when they said that my Haitian brother had gone home. Finally, I figured out what the heck they meant. They meant that he had returned to Haiti. Now they have said to me that he has returned to the Bahamas. So at some point, I shall reveal his identity, and I would speak to the Haitian community with a view to bringing back, well, helping the police to capture him. Vehicular manslaughter is a very serious offense, and we have to tell everybody in this country, slow down, don't speed. If you speed, you buck up, you kill somebody, you're going to be charged with manslaughter. And we don't care who the heck you are. You would recall that some years ago, a leading F&M politician, his son was speeding and he killed a citizen. And since the leading politician was an F&M and his son was an F&M, and he was being pursued by F&M, and I'm certain that you can guess which F&M